Hi, and welcome to this video where we're going to talk about business strategy. So the aim of this video is to give you an overview, or a high-level overview of what business strategy is all about, why it's important, the sorts of elements that make up business strategy, and how it helps you achieve the business success that you're looking to achieve. So before we jump straight into that, there's a couple of things that I wanted to highlight, mainly around extra reading, if anyone wants to do any extra reading. So there are a couple of books that I found very helpful. I mean, there's loads of books out there, you can read all sorts, but the ones that I really liked was The Art of War and Blue Ocean Strategy. So, why is strategy so important? Well, strategy is creating the vision. It's the reason you're doing what you're doing. It helps you with the end goal and gives you the targets. It drives you and helps drive your business forward. If you didn't have strategy, then you're just going to be going around in circles, or you're just repeating the same mistakes, or you're not getting to an end goal. Some businesses, they get stuck in a bit of a rut and they kind of go around in circles, and having a clear direction as to where you're going will help you in your future success. So I've been quite fortunate. I've got to work with lots of different people and work in lots of different businesses. I've worked in businesses where there's been very clear strategy, and that strategy has been disseminated to everyone within the business and everyone goes in the same direction. I've met companies where they want to implement new strategy and they're not quite sure how, so you're helping them support that, or you're helping an element within that to move forward. I've worked with companies where they have a strategic vision, but it's very woolly, and so the business struggles to understand how they can achieve those sort of targets. I've also met owners who, there might be multiple owners, where they both have different sort of views on where they want to go, and so setting the right kind of strategy for two different directions can be a very big challenge. So I've experienced all of those as well. So let's talk about strategy and the sorts of things that you need to do. So the first thing really about strategy is you want to sort of gather as many facts to understand where you are right now. You need to understand where your strengths and your weaknesses are in order to sort of move forward. So we've got to do a bit of analysis around, right, this is where we are now and how are we going to move forward. The next thing is you need to have a vision. You need to think about where you're going to be going. In some respects, you need to be thinking outside of the box or pie in the sky, and really go for it. Really look into the future and envisage what the world could be like. And in some respects, you need to have a thought experiment, like Einstein would say, where you'd sit there and you work out and say, right, this is how I would see it working. So you can then see the future and what you would be doing, what the business needs to be doing, because that is the most important thing. That's our aim, that's our target. We can then work back from that. So we need to know that, really. You often find that a lot of people struggle with that. Not everyone thinks in that sort of way. You find there's a lot of people who have gotten into a position because they were very good at managing, and then suddenly being asked to think of strategy can be quite a challenge. You also have people who are an expert at what they do, and they're in it because they're really good at it, but again, they don't really know where they want to go. And others, their strategy might simply be, that I'd like to work half the time. So, it doesn't need to be massive, but it needs to be very clear. You need to know, this is what I want to try and achieve. If that's 2 years, 3 years, or 5 years, or even further than that, that's where we're trying to go, because we can then work back. So once we've got the vision, we can then look at the strategic objectives, and we can break that down and look for the important elements that sit within that. Once we've got those sort of strategic areas, we've broken them down, we can then work our way down through like a ladder scale, and we might need to look at some tactical plans. So we might need to decide to go in one direction first, because the business needs to learn to go in that way before they then change course to go somewhere else. Tactical plans is really about trying to build up and making sure we're ready for the next step, and so on and so forth. Then once we've got that and we've got some checkpoints, we can then look at creating some performance management and some goals that will help drive you forward. So we might look at key performance indicators and attach them to those goals. But it's important that those goals are watertight and that we know where we're going. Once we've got our plans, we've got our vision, we've got our strategic objectives, we've got our tactical plans, our performance management, it is important that you review these on an ongoing basis. I mean, you don't need to review these on a weekly basis or a monthly basis, quarterly or half yearly is fine, depending on where you're going and what you're doing, because you want to make sure that you're on target. We live in a digital age, and actually information is available all over the place, and you don't need to wait for months or weeks to know if you're on target. You can plan, you can build that, you can put it into place, and you can be recording the information so we know where we're going, so we can be reviewing it more often. But it also is important that you're also really reviewing the end goal. Has that end goal changed? Because it will change. As new opportunities come up, your direction may want to change to go after that new opportunity. So I've already covered performance management goals and objectives. Now on that, one of the most important things to also include is that when you're setting those objectives and those goals, that they are actually SMART. And this is a terminology that's used, and SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, realistic and time related. Therefore, you can actually achieve all of those things, and it should be realistic to the business. There's no point setting a bad target or goal, because then how is everyone going to know that they've achieved that? So an example would be grow sales. That's a classic. You wanting to grow sales, but how can I achieve that? Is just going and getting one sale considered, your target? You've hit your target because you've grown that sales. You didn't have that one beforehand. A more realistic and smart target would be something along the lines of, I'm going to grow sales by 15,000 month on month for the next year. Therefore, that could be realistic for your business. It's time related, it's achievable, so everyone can achieve that. And it's important that you look at and take in what you've achieved in the year. So often many people just completely forget about what they've already achieved. So by having these goals, you can look back and say, oh, look at what we did very well, and we are moving in the right direction. And that's really it. We've looked at and we've covered the gathering the facts of where we are now. We've looked at vision, we've looked at identifying those strategic objectives, we've looked at tactical plans, and we've looked at the performance management goals. One of the things I would always suggest is that you include people outside of your area, or people that might have other skills when you're looking at strategy and coming up with these things. Not everyone is a strategist. Some people are put in a place where they haven't thought about this kind of stuff before, and that's why you would go to a third party who might be able to help you, or if you're in part of a large organisation, why you might have a team, or I've experienced it where we've gone away for a whole day and we've spent the whole day talking about the coming plans and where we're going to go. So it's something that you really need to look at. It's something that people sort of put aside very quickly, or they forget about, but it's why you're in business, it's why you're doing what you're doing, and just making sure we're constantly going in that direction. So if you want any more information, feel free to give us a call or send us an email. Please like, share and comment on the videos, and if you want to listen to any more, click subscribe.